I think when a lot of people think of Mexican cocktails, they think of the margarita, which, although it's an incredible drink, and we've covered that in previous episodes, you shouldn't overlook the Paloma. So the Paloma is a longer drink, it's bubbly, and it's arguably even more refreshing. So we're going to make that today. So the Paloma is actually a really simple drink to put together, which might explain a lot of its popularity, but it's also extremely delicious. And tequila is at its base, as you might have expected, but you can even blend in a little bit of mezcal to this. I like to go 3 parts tequila to 1 part mezcal if I want a little bit more smokiness coming through, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to stick with tequila now. It also has acidity coming from freshly squeezed lime juice, and if you want to balance this out, you can add a little bit of agave nectar, but I would say don't overdo it because a lot of the grapefruit soda, which we're going to lengthen the drink with, has a lot of sugar anyway, so a lot of the time this isn't necessary. But what we're going to do to kind of bring all these big flavors together is add a little bit of saline solution. So a lot of classic recipes call for a pinch of salt, which is incredibly difficult to be consistent with. You can easily overdo it and spoil a drink, but using a saline solution with 1 part salt to 5 parts water just gives you so much more control over this. And I actually use seasonings quite a lot in my cocktails, which I covered in an earlier video in the course, which I'll put just above for you here. And then to finish the drink, we're gonna add something sparkling, refreshing, which is gonna be grapefruit soda. So I'm going with Jarritos, which is a Mexican option, quite traditional, but there are lots of grapefruit sodas on the market. And I'd say just give them a little taste beforehand so you understand how acidic they are, how sweet they are, and how fizzy they are, and then you can adapt your recipe accordingly. So if you don't have Jarritos grapefruit soda, because it's not that widely available across the world, that's completely fine. You can either watch this video for a really good solution, or you can even just blend grapefruit juice and soda water to top up the drink around about half and half, and you'll still get a really good result. In that case, you might just need to add a little bit of agave to bring a little bit of sweetness. We're gonna build the Paloma straight in the glass, which I've chilled in advance. We're gonna start with 40 mils of tequila. But as I mentioned earlier, doing 30 mils of tequila, 10 mils of mezcal is actually a really good option as well. Just brings a little bit more earthiness and a little bit more smokiness. But for simplicity's sake, 40 mils of tequila and 15 mils of freshly squeezed lime juice. And so far, we're looking quite close to a margarita, but this is where we kind of depart from the margarita template. So first of all, if your soda's not very sweet, you can add a little bit of agave nectar, which obviously is the base of your tequila, your mezcal, so it's kind of in keeping and synergistic, bringing lots of sweetness, but because we're using Jarritos, which does have a really good level of sweetness, we don't really need this in this recipe. So now we've got our spirit base, our acidity from the lime juice, the option to add some sweetness from the agave nectar. I want to add a little bit of saltiness to the drink, which won't taste like salt, but it just brings everything together really nicely. So in order to do this, just going to add our glass to the scales, and I like to add quite a lot of this. So 1 gram of our 1 to 5 saline solution. And this is a pretty magical ingredient. So with a margarita, obviously you're adding salt to the rim of the glass. You can also do that here if you like to. You can add chili to this. You can add tropical flavors like pineapple work really well. But this is just going to be a really kind of clean, grapefruit forward drink with that nice tequila underlying. And then now our base is ready, we're just going to add our ice. And don't scrimp on the ice, you want to add as much as you can fit in the glass because you want this drink to stay really nice and cold for as long as possible. So I've gone 5 or 6 big cubes, and then we're just going to finish the drink with around about 100 grams, or in fact, exactly 100 grams of our Jarritos grapefruit soda. Just going to top this up. Just leave a little bit of room so you can give it a stir first of all. So I've not added all of my 100 grams. Just going to give it a little mix together to make sure all the ingredients are fully mixed. Top it up to 100. Going to garnish with a nice big grapefruit wedge, which you can squeeze into the drink if you like. Finish it off with a straw. And there we have the most refreshing tequila-based drink I can think of, the Paloma. Enjoy, everybody.